Canary Wharf, the crown jewel of London's financial power and second only to New York in its importance to world financial markets. Contrary to what doom-mongers may say, Britain still has a world-class finance and services sector. In fact, financial services accounted for around 12% of the UK's economic output and contributed £275 billion to the country's gross value added in 2022. But our latest paper shows that all of this could be put at risk if a wealth tax were introduced. A group of cross-party MPs have recently called for an extreme wealth tax to be introduced in the Chancellor's first budget. Not only would this be economically harmful, but politically toxic as well. However, this is not the first time a wealth tax has been considered. Various Labour governments, from Ramsay MacDonald to Harold Wilson, toyed with the idea, but ultimately backed away. Why? Because they feared it would undermine economic confidence in the UK, raise little revenue, and cause capital flight, leaving the country poorer and forcing lower rate taxpayers to pick up the tab. Even Clement Attlee's Labour government, often seen as the most radical, shied away from it. So why has the wealth tax entered political discourse once again? Because it's seen as an easy way to raise money from the rich to be redistributed into funding public services or welfare. But the impact of a wealth tax is far more complicated and harmful than its advocates realise. Very few countries impose a wealth tax today, and those that have often end up repealing it soon after. Take, for example, France's now abolished ISF wealth tax. The results? Many wealthy individuals left the country, taking their investments with them. Instead of raising the revenue the French government hoped for, the tax drove higher rate taxpayers out of the country, costing their economy €200 billion since 1988. And it's not just about the numbers. When wealthy individuals leave, so does their investment in new businesses, startups, and the broader economy. This is why the real damage of a wealth tax stretches far beyond revenue shortfalls. According to our own research, a 1% wealth tax in the UK could result in a reduction of taxable wealth by around £260 billion. A wealth tax would also distort asset allocation. Contrary to what advocates claim, it wouldn't improve how assets are used or encourage more productive investments. Instead, people would base their investment decisions on avoiding the quirks of a wealth tax, leading to poorer outcomes for the whole economy. Worse still, a wealth tax could stifle entrepreneurship. Small businesses, especially startups, would struggle. Many would have to pay taxes on assets before they've made an income, making it harder to survive through the early lean years. Even the famous left-wing Labour MP, Tony Benn, a leading advocate of wealth taxes, acknowledged the concerns of small business owners in his constituency. And it's not just startups that would suffer. Our research shows that wealth taxes could depress wages, investment, and GDP. For instance, a study in Germany found that wealth taxes would reduce GDP in the long run by 4 to 5%, while household savings would drop by over 30%. The economic harms of wealth taxes are severe, but so are the political consequences. Take Australia's mining tax as an example. The tax sparked such a backlash from both the public and the mining industry that it ultimately toppled the government. The ruling Labour Party lost support in key mining states, leading to the ousting of Prime Minister Kevin Rudd and the loss of power in 2013. A wealth tax runs a real risk of becoming what the mining tax was for Australian politicians in the 2010s, a politically toxic issue. And in the UK, the damage could be even more visible due to the prominence of the industries and individuals affected. Key sectors such as finance, technology, and even housing could see a backlash that threatens the government itself. Wealth is not something to be punished or taken for granted. It's not just the province of the ultra-rich or multinational corporations. It's ordinary people owning a house, buying a nice car, wanting to earn a good wage and make a better life for themselves and their families. Wealth creation is the bedrock of a thriving economy, of innovation, jobs, and opportunity. When we tax wealth, we tax ambition. When we punish success, we undermine the very foundation that allows people to rise, to build, and create a more successful country. We don't need a wealth tax. What we need is an economy that rewards hard work, investment, and risk-taking. No one becomes wealthier by shrinking the economy, only by expanding it. At the Taxpayers Alliance, we stand for aspiration and opportunity, not punishment and envy. Wealth creation benefits not just the individual, but the entire nation. It's time for policymakers to focus on growth, not division, champion aspiration, not penalise it, and to recognise that wealth creation is a catalyst for a better future for all.